Hi again. So now you know how to visualize trees using D3 if you watch actually the part from the D3 track. So if you haven't, you're going to be, and basically what we are going to do now is to try to see how to do at least part of that using Vega-Lite. The problem with Vega-Lite is that with Vega alone, and actually I should, before I screw up everything in here, I should fork this, and then let's put it in here so I can keep the other scratchbook. And then in here I can put that on Vega-Lite. So as I was saying, one of the problems with Vega-Lite is that Vega-Lite doesn't have laying out algorithms for creating trees. So basically it's mostly working only with data. So what we can do though is that we can use all of these techniques that D3 does for computing the actual attributes. And basically what that does as a wrap up is that it takes a table like this one, and then you can group that using D3 rollup, pass that through D3 hierarchy, which will add it will add to it different functions and methods for trees, like for instance to get the leaves, and then pass that through a D3 layout algorithm, that is this one in here. This is the tidy3 algorithm that produces something like this, and this is how you visualize that in there. So the beauty of this is that you can, once you pass the data through all of those processes, then what you get is the X and Y. That is what we need for visualizing. And actually we can visualize that with Vega-Lite. So let's see if we can pull that one off. So what I'm going to do is add an extra import in here. And in this case, I'm going to be importing Vega and Vega-Lite API. And then once I have done that, then I can get started visualizing. So the way of visualizing this is like we will need two elements. Like first, I need to do a mark with a circle. And then the data that I'm going to pass is the laid out tree data. That is this one that I just showed you. And that's the data that is grouping just for a tidy tree. I need to render that. And then I am getting an error because like this data, it's containing all of those references inside. So I'm actually, one of the problems that you need in here is that you need to get rid of those things, probably because Vega-Lite is using certain things that are already inside that. So let me create copies of these. So I guess one way of doing this one will be I need all of the descendants in here. So let's say descendants, and then actually let's put this outside. So so we can see it like this. And then basically what I'm can do is that I could just let's start doing something like this. And that should give us like all the elements. Maybe that one, it's stripped out of all the methods. So, and let's say here that I'm going to create like stripped tree data. And then let's pass that in here, and that one still doesn't work. So we can select specifically which ones we want to pass. So in this case, we need the X, so we can say d.x. We need Y, so we're going to say d.y. And then we also need the label, so we can say name, and this is going to be d dot, and I think this goes in data 0. And then we have that. Okay. So with that data, now we can start, and now it's working better. So now you can say, let's start visualizing, and then the elements that you want to use are for X, you're going to use, guess what? X. And then for Y, you're going to use Y. And those both of those are quantitative attributes. So now I have those elements. My Y, as usual, is reversed. So I can take my scale, and then I can say that I want to reverse that thing as we did before. The other thing is that you actually don't want any axis in here. So I want to get rid of this because that's actually not really representing any data. And then gets you this. Okay. So you can change the size of this if you want. And like our tooltips, I really love this thing of Vega. And let's say that I want to change the size. I think in here we will need to pass a high value because it's actually the area. That's maybe too high. So something like this. And then if you say that my width is going to be the whole width, then you get something like this. Now, if you want to show the links, then what we can do is that we can take these two and then say these are going to be my nodes. And then I'm going to stop it in here. And then I'm going to return a via layer. So I'm going to layer two things, and I'm going to start with my nodes. If John can find a way of spell correctly, spelling, how do you say that in English? Good thing nobody's here to correct me. So now I'm drawing the nodes, and then now I want to draw also the links. So since the links are going to use different data, in this case it's going to be this one, but and I'm going to need to strip that as well. So basically I can get something like this, and then I can get links out of this, stripped strip links, let's call this. And basically the links are going to have, like this is a link, and it's going to have two values, like a source X. So it's going to be like L dot, actually, you know what? Let me get this one and then get that as a function, and then say like object copy, and it's going to be this. So I can say something like this, and hopefully I can do something like source and then say object copy of l.source, and on target I can do object copy of l.target. Will that work? Yay! So now I can see I have actually the objects in there. So now I can draw the links. So let's find out which mark works in here. Probably might be this one. So let's say this is going to be a link. And then this link should have source X, source Y, and then the line, the nice thing about the line is that you can pass, in Vega-Lite, you can, this is going to be just a field, and then this is going to be X2, and then this one is going to be my target. So on X, I'm drawing a line from source X to target X, and you can guess what I'm going to be doing in here. I don't need the scale in here because the other one is going to take care of that. Probably I don't need the axis as well. Probably that's going to fail. So let's get ahead of them and avoid the error. And then now I have the links, I have the nodes, and so now I should be able to do this. Are you crossing your fingers? That's your fault, not mine. So I can do this, and then of course it doesn't show. I wonder if I need to do this with a mark rule. Probably this size is not really helping in there. And let's go back to the mark line. And of course I am missing something. I wonder if I'm getting an error in here. X2 is dropped as it's incompatible with this one. So I'll go back with mark rule. And I'm still getting an error, damn it. What could be my problem in here? This is source, Y, target Y. The scale is reversed. Let's do this for each of undefined. What do you mean? Oh, yes. That might be my problem. So actually, you see that I'm using here the stripped data. So I actually should be using the stripped links data. And now you have kind of what we want. You can also change the coloring here. I think I'm guessing stroke maybe. And then use something less hard. So like maybe ZCC, a little gray. And that we have that. So it doesn't have the nice curves, but at least you have this. Actually, you might be able to even use the D3 link horizontal and vertical, but let's leave it like this. So in order to keep this a little short, like if you want to show this one, but in a vertical way, it's just a matter of flipping X and Y's. So I'm guessing if, and if you want to show the text, you just need to lay another layer another attribute in there, and probably that's going to get you what you want. So let's try to see one of these ones at least. So here, remember what we did is that we create another D3 hierarchy, but in this case we pass a summary, a sum function, and then we have a layout that you see in there. So we can replicate the two stripped functions that we had. So I don't need the links, so let's go only with this one. And then let's put those in here, actually, yes, here. And then this is going to be using this one now. And then this is going to be stripped tree map data. And then now we can start drawing this. So the way of doing that will be with a mark, I think rectangle maybe. And that one is going to have a data that is going to be my stripped tree map data. And I just need to render this. And same thing. So we just say I'm going to encode this as VLX, and my field is going to be Q, and getting too lazy, so I'm going to copy all of those from there. So actually I'm going to copy these ones because I'm also going to use another attribute. I'm hoping that will work. So let's see how we can do this. And come on, carry trim up here in the encoding. There we go. So I do this, and then I have my X, and this should be, instead of source X, it should be X0. And then this one, I'm guessing that it could be like something like this, hopefully. And then I need to calculate maybe the width and the height. So let's see if that we can make that one work. I wonder what else I can use in there. So let's go in Vega-Lite rectangle, and let's take a look at the documentation for this. So if you have a rectangle, then you can change the property align, blah blah blah. So if you have a heat map, I think I have seen some examples that use something else. Like here are the properties, like the standard mark properties. So you have X. Okay, so you do have a property width, width of the marks, height of the marks. I wonder with which ones I can use that. Maybe with area or X2 coordinate. So let's see if we can pull this one off with X2. So Y, and then we have Y2. So this is going to be X0, and then we can do this with Y1, and then of course it's not showing anything, and then I need my stripped tree map data. I wonder if this one is throwing me any errors in here. So let's try running this one once more. Just to try to see if this is working, what we can do is like just start at least showing the circles. X2 is dropped, so that's good. Let's say that we comment this one out and this one out as well. And then this one is not giving me what I want, of course. So the stripped tree map data should be doing this one. Yes, so I'm actually making a mistake in here because, excuse me, as you see in here, no, it does have this one. So yeah, my object copy that I had before, it's copying X and Y. So actually, let's do another object copy 2. And then this one should be getting a new object, and it should be doing X0 out of the dot X0, X1 out of the dot X1, and then Y0 out of the dot Y0, and Y1 out of the dot Y1. Okay, so now that we have that, then we have this. That's looking better. So now I have these attributes. I need the name in there. So let's say that we get the name out of d.data sub 0. Beautiful. And then the value, it's going to be d.value. That one comes easy. So now that we have that, that's looking better. Let's go and try it again with our rectangle. So that's looking good. I wonder if I can do that. That's what I wanted. And of course, I made a mistake in here somehow. And I have these elements. I can hopefully, let me see just by changing this if that changes anything. No, that's not what I want. So I can change the colors as well. Maybe this is aggregating everything. Maybe that's what's happening. So let's say that I want to use color for the field. This is going to be nominal and it's going to be name. There we go. So now we have the tree map that we wanted. And then if you just want to show the values inside that, then you can do that as well. I think this one should have a little bit more of padding. I wonder like why it's not showing that. Oh, yes. So it's actually drawing the inner nodes as well. So if I do this one, and of course I should, since this is the stripped version, I don't have that in there. So it should be here. And then should be something like this. And then now it has the padding inside. So if you want to change the width of this, maybe, so something like this. And a height, also using the height that you have. And if you want to show the marks for the text, then you just layer with the other element as you saw in there, so middle in there. If you want to do that for the icicle, it's exactly repeating the same thing. The key is making sure that you get these x1s and x0 variables so you can actually compute where to go with those things. So it's technically not possible to do tree visualizations with Vega-Lite, but as you can see, just using D3 for the laying out, you can actually do it. So hope you like that.